We're going to Mars. Not just a few astronauts, thousands of people are going to colonize Mars, and I am telling you that they're going to do this soon. First, I want to discuss the obvious question. Why the heck should we do this? To survive, we have to reach beyond the home planet. Think what a tragedy it would be if all that humans have accomplished were suddenly obliterated. Some of the greatest advances in civilization and technology came because we explored. Think how inspired we will be to see a landing on Mars. Perhaps then we will look back at Earth and see that that is one people instead of many, and perhaps then we will look back at Earth as we struggle to survive on Mars and realize how precious the home planet is. But first, a few fascinating facts about where we're going. This picture actually represents the true size of Mars compared to Earth. The atmosphere on Mars is really thin, 100 times thinner than on Earth, and it's not breathable. It's 96% carbon dioxide. It's really cold there. The average temperature is minus 81 degrees, although there is quite a range of temperature. A day on Mars is about as long as a day on Earth, plus about 39 minutes. Seasons and years on Mars are twice as long as they are on Earth. Mars has a lot less gravity than on Earth, and it's the kind of place where you could jump over your car instead of walk around it. Here's the problem. Mars is a long way away, 1,000 times farther away from us than our own moon. The moon is 250,000 miles away, and it took Apollo astronauts 3 days to get there. Mars is 250 million miles away, and it will take us 8 months to get there, 240 days. And meanwhile, our track record of getting to Mars is lousy. Only about a third of the missions to Mars have been successful. So, getting to Mars is not going to be easy, and that brings up a really interesting question. How soon will the first humans actually land here? We're going to land in Mars in 2027. That raises a really big question. Can we actually live there? Let's look at the problem this way. Here's what you need to live on Earth: food, water, shelter, clothing. And here's what you need to live on Mars. All of the above plus oxygen. If you look at Mars, it looks really dry. It looks like the entire planet is a desert. But it turns out that it's not. The soil alone on Mars contains up to 60% water, and that lots of craters on Mars have a sheet of water ice in them. It's not a bad place to start a colony. There are huge amounts of underground water on Mars, as well as glaciers. This is a device cooked up at the University of Washington back in 1998. It's basically a low-tech dehumidifier, and it turns out the Mars atmosphere is often 100% humid. So this device can extract all the water that humans will need simply from the atmosphere on Mars. Next, we have to worry about what we will breathe. NASA has this problem worked out. This is a scientist at MIT named Michael Heck. He's developed MOXIE. It's a reverse fuel cell, essentially, that sucks in the Martian atmosphere and pumps out oxygen. You have to remember that CO2, carbon dioxide, which is 96% of Mars' atmosphere, CO2 is basically 78% oxygen. Next, what will we eat? Well, we'll use hydroponics to grow food, but we're not going to be able to grow more than 15 to 20% of our food there, at least not not until water is running on the surface of Mars and we actually have the probability and the capability of planting crops. And then we need some shelter. At first, we can use inflatable pressurized buildings as well as the landers themselves. But there is too much solar radiation and too much radiation from cosmic rays. So we really have to go underground. Or we may choose to live underground in caves or in lava tubes, of which there are plenty. And finally, there's clothing. So Davin Newman, scientist at MIT, has created this sleek spacesuit that will keep us together, block radiation, and keep us warm. Food, shelter, clothing, water, oxygen, we can do this. But it's still a little complicated and a little difficult. So that leads to the next big, really big step, terraforming the planet, making it more like Earth, re-engineering an entire planet. First, we've got to warm it up. Mars is incredibly cold because it has a very thin atmosphere. The answer lies here, at the South Pole, and at the North Pole of Mars, both of which are covered with an incredible amount of frozen carbon dioxide, dry ice. If we heat it up, sublimes directly into the atmosphere and thickens the atmosphere the same way it does on Earth. And as we know, CO2 is an incredibly potent greenhouse gas. Now, my favorite way of doing this is to erect a very, very large solar sail and focus it, essentially serves as a mirror, and focus it on the South Pole of Mars at first. It actually won't take long for the temperature on Mars to start rising, probably less than 20 years. As the atmosphere gets thicker, everything gets better. We get more protection from radiation, more atmosphere makes us warmer, makes the planet warmer, so we get running water, and that makes crops possible. Then more water vapor goes into the air, forming yet another potent greenhouse gas. It will rain and it will snow on Mars. And a thicker atmosphere will create enough pressure so that we can throw away those spacesuits. We could end up with a species of human being on the Earth that is slightly different from the species of human beings on Mars. It's going to be the same as it is on Earth. Somebody's going to start a restaurant, somebody's going to build an iron foundry. Someone will make documentary movies of Mars and sell them on Earth. There will be software companies, there will be hotels, there will be bars. This much is certain. It will be the most disruptive event in our lifetimes. And I think it will be the most inspiring. Most importantly, it will make us a space-faring species. And that means humans will survive no matter what happens on Earth. We will never be the last of our kind. We're going to Mars.
Welcome everybody, we are back with today's podcast, and we have a very different topic than 2 days ago, because we'd like to talk about a little bit of dream of humanity, but more like a goal of humanity, I would say, as we'd like to talk about colonizing Mars, and also like landing on Mars, going on Mars, and everything that's connected to this huge journey which us humans plan to Mars, especially Elon Musk, as we know. And Patrick and Tommy again is with me.
Yes, hey guys. We are back again. Yeah, it's quite different than the previous one we had like 2 days ago, exactly. And it's gonna be really interesting.
Because it's a huge topic with really interesting facts, and no one knows what it really contains, and we are talking now about the future, which is pretty mind-blowing, if you ask me.
Yeah, of course, it's unpredictable. This is one of the biggest reasons of that. So, I'd like to ask you some questions. First things first. Not just like what do you think about this, but have you ever heard about this? Of course, Roland, you've definitely heard about this, but Tommy, what was your first thoughts about this when you have actually find out that this is a real thing?
So I haven't really looked at it, so I'm just a spectator now, in case. So Roland and Chissy is much much more knowledge about this whole topic, but I will make my best to add my thoughts on it. So I just say what you think.
Oh yeah. See, just one quick highlight because I think it's important to say that of course we are not experts, we are not scientists. So like, we are like people who searched on it on the internet. So, false information and also like, misunderstandings obviously can happen. But also another thing that's just an interesting fact about me, that I like to learn physics in the future at university. So this is something that is really, really that really makes me excited. This topic. And so to just quickly warm up, the basic question, because I think a lot of people do think that it's not possible to go on Mars and to colonize Mars. Do you think that it is possible or no?
Of course, there are some quite interesting theories. Unfortunately, we have to be clear about one huge fact that makes this quite impossible. And this is that our own moon is about 28,000 miles. Or no, actually, it's more than that. It's 2,800,000 miles away from us. And and Mars is like 10 times that amount. And so it's far away, but there are some predictions that we could make it there. So I believe it would take like 7 or 8 months to go there, just the flight to Mars. And of course, first things first, we have to like make it like more livable, because there are some screaming facts about Mars that contain a lot of stuff that isn't good for human bodies and structures as well. Tommy?
Yeah.
Let's start with so Mars has a very thin atmosphere, and so the nitrogen, the oxygen, and the CO2 is very different from the Earth, which causes pretty bad living conditions. Also, we have to solve this problem of lack of water, because we obviously can't bring the amount of water that we will need there if we want to live there. And also, I watched a YouTube video about it. There is high level of radiation, which can cause very much damage on the people. Yeah. And also, I think you guys will talk about much more details with it. I have a question for you. Just curiosity. How long do you think you could live there? So if the living conditions can
prove or something,
yeah.
Prove it, yeah. Because it's much different.
Yeah, that definitely is, and there's something that I wanted to bring up, because Patrick said how it is 8 months to just travel to Mars, and it's 8 months to travel back from Mars, from the planet. And the problem is that we know human body can be in space only for half a year if that human wants to come back to Earth, because after half a year or around half a year, I'm not so sure if that's the exact number, but so after this around half a year, the human body will got used to the conditions of space so much that if it comes back to Earth, that human would actually die, because it would be a so fast change of pressure, that humans would die immediately. So, in fact, if our road to Mars is around 8 months and 8 months back, that means those people who go to Mars at this point, until we are not faster than this, they cannot come back. They like it's literally impossible for them to come back.
So whatever will happen, then they will die or not, because they actually cannot rely on this fact that they will be like welcomed home back because of this fact. That's quite true that you've said this, and yeah, move on. Just wanted to add this.
Yeah, and so this is like this is why people plan to colonize it. So like when they go to Mars, before that people go to Mars, robots and machines would make sort of artificial base for them, because when they come there, in order to start research, to start living there, they will live there for their life, and so it is needed to be supplied, like the security to be supplied. And of course, anyone who goes to Mars in the future, there is no guarantee that they will live through, even if we do if we do an artificial base before them going there. And so the other solution is, of course, if we could speed this journey up, which is something that we are working on. These would mean actually just faster rockets. However, as far as I know, that these discoveries are really far from being in usage.
Yeah.
They plan, so like I think the most famous one, or just the one I heard a lot about, is rockets with fusion energy, which like fusion energy would power the rocket, which could go very, very fast. So like this is way more faster than we go now. However, the problem with this is only that we at this point we just start using fusion energy. Like, in fact, some days ago, China released a fusion power plant, which is like in work, and so until fusion power is like under development, it's of course cannot be used in rockets.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty true.
And
I
yeah,
believe
yeah.
that the storage of fusion energy is a problem as well in it.
Yeah, of course, because like from at this point we make most of our batteries from lithium, and there are two problems with lithium. First is that it's not long living.
It's limited, yeah.
It's
the
limited.
lifetime.
Yeah, because it's a liquid. Because this is lithium batteries are liquid, so its lifetime is it's very, very limited. And second of all, lithium batteries has to be huge, like huge. And of course, in a spaceship, you do not have enough space for huge batteries. And so different batteries should be figured out as well. I think scientists point towards graphene batteries, because graphene batteries, graphene is a very very special material, as it is actually solid, but can also hold electrons, which means it can be used as a battery, but it can be used in a way smaller burst and for a way longer time. But this is also again under development. It's still way far from using it in a rocket.
Yeah, like fusion energy.
Yeah,
They both are. These both are like under like experiment
yeah,
right now.
and
Yeah.
this is why people are talking about colonizing Mars and making Mars base, because we know that it would take way more time to get the the technology there to travel to Mars and come back to Mars, and that could be in a rational time.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you like to add like something else?
No, just go on, of course.
Yeah, because there's this huge fact besides that we don't have like the fastest rockets in order to get there in time, that our like signals aren't strong enough as well, because as you can see in the video, like one fourth of these like rockets which were like dedicated to go to Mars and land on Mars, or just to like circle Mars and come back. Those rockets, like 1/4 of them, were successful. Sorry, and unfortunately, those other rockets missed the planet, or actually couldn't make it to the planet. So it's quite dangerous to practice these like routes, these journeys with people. First thing first, and this is where I believe artificial intelligence, or as we can say that AI, will play a crucial role. Definitely. Domi, what's your thoughts about these?
But the plans are made, so our engineers are working on it to 24/7 to reach our potential. And yeah, we are talking about now the probably the most expensive project in human history.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of effort to make it as perfectly as we can. So if there will be any little mistake, that could cause a very 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 huge damage, or the huge
And I believe that you've said like one of the key words here, that this will be like one of the greatest and one of the most expensive like journeys, or just like the actions of our humankind history. And I believe that our generation, like this like kids who were born in like from 2000 to 2010, this generation will be like the core of this, because our duty will be to make this happen. And of course we have to consider the fact that when the first man landed on the moon, Neil Armstrong, the whole planet like actually worked like as a huge colonization in order to do that. And it was a huge step for humanity, as he said. Of course, it was a huge leap for us. And just think about it, how big this leap will be for humanity when the first person will actually step on the planet of Mars. Just think about it, how huge that will be.
which is actually named after Roman god of war. So it
Yeah.
very talkative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And By the way, about the cost, just for a little bit of comparison, I firstly searched. Actually, the second most expensive construction project was the ISS, the International Space Station. Fun fact: the first one was the U.S. Highway system, whatever. So it in fact was the second most expensive project of humans, and this was around 115 billion dollars. No, I'm sorry, not dollars. Pounds. This is in pounds. 115 billion pounds.
So it's a lot more than dollars, yeah.
Yeah, and SpaceX plans to go on Mars from $10 billion, but which seems to be way less. Of course, it is way less. But this is just the cost of the journey. This does not count in the development there, and also if we make and create Mars base and all the technologies there, which are also needs to be under development, will probably be one of the most expensive projects of humans, if not the most expensive. Because if you think about it, 10 billion is only the journey alone. And journey is just the one of the smallest part of it, even though it is the most important one, but it's still from the development and from the money you actually spend on it is just a little percent.
Yeah.
And so it will be, and this is one of the biggest problems of exploring Mars and going on Mars, that actually, even though it's financed, yes, and especially like if we think about Elon Musk or and SpaceX or Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin, it's financed by one of the most worthwhile companies, but it's still not there where it was in 1969 at the landing of the moon, because back then it was the goal of the USA and the Western world, and also the Eastern world. This was like a race between them, and this race between them got the US there, that they spend that much energy and that much money on it that they could do it, and the fact is that we are not doing the same amount for that.
Yeah, of course, because of privatization.
Yeah, because it seems to be very funny, but as well true, that space exploration has been privatized. Like, okay, of course not ESA or NASA, but like the development themselves for the new space rockets, for the new technologies, has been privatized by SpaceX and by Blue Origin.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and it's quite. It could be like we can like consider the unfortunate side of this, but I believe it's not that big of a stress.
Yeah,
like a stress.
yeah,
I can't
because
pronounce this fucking word.
yeah, because like
Stress. Yeah.
like
Congratulations.
and seriously, it's problematic. It's very problematic, especially if we think of the later oncoming ownerships. That's a really huge question. That, like, in theory, the agreement is that no one has a property in space, which is logical. But if a privatized company goes there and spends the amount of money on going on Mars, then the real question is, will they actually care? Will they care that there is this law? Because they can just say, like, shut the fuck up, I went to Mars, I can do it. I can do whatever I want. Like because there is not habitat, and then there is no habitants. You're just going on a empty space, and it's so this situation is just endangering because a similar situation can come as when people explored America, just without any inhabitants being there.
Yeah. Hopefully, history won't repeat itself.
Yeah, but like anyway, I think we should we shouldn't discuss this so much because this is very long away. This is like after we already colonized a part of Mars. This is a question of then.
Of course, the first few steps are the hardest, not right now.
Yeah.
And we are like we are at the entrance of these steps right now. First of all, I have a question for you guys that I believe we skipped on. Like, it wasn't on purpose. We just tried to talk about everything as a whole. But why do you think we need this? To colonize, to like make a planet livable, inhabitable.
What does humanity can reach? So I think this is a very interesting question. What can we achieve? And it looks like we can reach anything in just 10 years from now. Except also Mars, because the plans are made or are in making, and I think this is a question of wow, what are we capable of?
Yeah.
I think I could bend this question even more. Is there anything we are not capable of? Because I think history has proven that time by time when we thought this is a line which we will never cross, we will not be able to cross, and after like 50 years we crossed it somehow. And like we can just think of how people thought that the Earth is flat, and like you just if you sail on the sea, then you will go forward and forward forever. And then came Copernicus and said, no, the Earth is actually more like a round. And everyone said that this is impossible. No. And what happened? This is the actual truth, and this is what we believe in now and what we know now. Not just believing, we know it.
Yeah, it's fundamental.
Yeah.
Basic.
Yeah, but of course we can achieve like anything, but why? Of course, considering the fact that on this planet we can achieve like nearly everything. We are trying to form our genetics. We are trying to we are trying to reach that level when people actually can grow back their like ripped off limbs, for instance. So it's like crazy. But of course, biology and the healthcare system is a whole another thing. But I believe that answering my question, like specifically that our planet is too vulnerable, like it can actually come to an end just like in a snap. It's too vulnerable, and it's dangerous for human beings to live on this planet for another 2,000 years. And this is why I believe that we should concentrate on like colonizing Mars, because this could be like an escape.
B plan.
Yeah, B plan maybe. Yeah.
And also for that, I'd like to add, just like a lot of people say, okay, but who the fuck cares what happens 2000 year in future? I won't live. Why would I care? Which is somewhere valid, but for them, I just usually say that exploring Mars has practical improvements on the present as well. Because while these technological improvements happen, and in these territories it happens the fastest. I'm sorry. So it happens the fastest, and so when these developments come to a commercial thing, then it becomes a practical use. Just to make an example, solar panels were actually finalized by NASA. Before NASA, no one used solar panels, and they started using it. They of course developed it, and after these developments, in 30 years or around 30 years, yeah, we started using it as well. So like, if if um if these developments go on, from that, slowly but surely, a lot of other technologies will come to commercial items which are actually useful, because like, just think about it, solar panels is now considered to be one of the best way to have energy. It's one of the most used way, if we think about renewables, of course. And this is also a reason why we need this, because humans can improve in everyday life if they improve in improving the future, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this definitely makes, of course. And I believe that you've mentioned technology, and this is where we should go on. That, of course, living on a planet, we have like four main or five main like facts that should be. These are like the standard of living on a planet. Standards like, of course, we need water, we need food supply, of course, we need clothing, and of course, we need like the atmosphere, of course, with the right gases like oxygen, nitrogen, of course, carbon dioxide as well. So, but on Mars, what do you think? How these five or four could be like managed?
Well, temperature is a crucial point of it. So temperature on Mars can be really low, and yeah, this can be solved, but this can be causing very, very, very various effects.
Yeah, of course, and like, as you can see right now in the picture, that like 96% of the atmospheric gases, it's carbon dioxide, and of course it's like minus 81 Fahrenheit, like on the like upper side of the planet, and of course near the equator it's much higher, of course. But this huge difference between like temperature, as you said, Tommy, it could be like a huge impact on, and it can have a huge effect on what we will do. And yeah, Roland, what do you think?
Yeah. So this is I think one of the biggest questions we are working on, like how to solve temperature, how to solve oxygen, how to solve water, and food supplies. And so like, first of all, maybe I think if we think about temperature, that's, in fact, we know that we can control it. Like, just think of our houses. We do control temperature. Of course, on Mars we need to control it on a bigger scale, but that's somewhere really close to the solution. And here comes two very, very hard ones: the food and the water supplies. Because okay, of course they will go to Mars with supplies, but that supply will actually run out at some point. And for some times we can in theory do that from Earth. We supply the people on Mars. However, on the long term, this is just not working. This is just too expensive and not worth it, because you have to launch so many expeditions to Mars. And so we should solve having water and food on Mars. Water is something, again, that should be controlled with temperature from ice, or that's something we plan to do so. And food, this is a very huge question, because we could grow foods, yes. However, we do not know, we have zero idea how will they react in an artificial atmosphere. This is like a question of the point of the future, because we can make the predictions, we can try to replicate it on ISS, for example, but it's never gonna be 100% that how our plants will react in a Martian artificial atmosphere. And the third thing is that oxygen, of course, and the atmosphere. You mentioned 96% of it is CO2. And now there is under development this so-called thing MOXIE, which is for that the CEO, the CEO of the Martian atmosphere could be created into O2. So like this is an artificial tree if we wanna if we wanna make it very easy.
Of course, it's more complicated.
Yeah, it's and if you wanna get to know more about it, then just you can watch our video about MOXIE.
Check out the video, guys.
Yeah, and so if we think about all of these, this is why, and now I'd like to a little bit get to another question. This is why I think we do not gonna go on Mars until 2030. I think these are all things which we have to figure out as much as we can, and I think it's unrealistic that until 2030 we can go on Mars. However,
it's some.
Yeah, so like, of course, it's not like it's just my guess. Of course, it can be wrong. Like, I don't know about myself that I could see in the future. So
It just like doesn't seem so logical. Too logical to go there before that, like 2030 you've mentioned. And of course, because of like you can't colonize a planet without the right living standards, of course, and you've mentioned all of them. First of all, you have to make the planet inhabitable, and we have some theories about that, how we could actually make this happen. Roland, would you like to explain, or Domi would like to explain it?
I will just listen, I think.
All right.
okay.
Roland, I think it's
So
up to you.
yeah, there is this hard. So this is a really, really hard project, and it's something that it's just a theory if we could create it in the future, and this is terraforming Mars. Because this is terraforming means just making a planet Earth-like. And so this could solve the problems of that we're faced with, because it's a different planet, because we could actually create a second Earth. Of course, the problem with this is the technologies to create. there has been some theories said that we could create a huge solar panel at a corner of the Mars, and we could create a reflection resulting global warming on Mars in order to terraform it, because that would like make the temperature way higher, around 0 or 10 Celsius degrees, and so the ice caps could melt on Mars, and that would terraform it. But the actual problem with this is like it's hundreds of years. Like a terraformation is a very long process. Because if we just think of how slowly the Earth developed until that point, it could habit life on it.
I believe that this huge amount of time can be like technology, and it could be like fast enough with the right technology. And I've heard some like theories about that. We will actually try to hear me out. We will try to like aim a storage or something like these. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Help me out, please. Yeah, asteroids to Mars to actually explode on the planet, and it will cause like huge like explosions, of course. And due to this fact, the temperature will increase, of course, because of the explosions. So we always fall back to one main thing, which is temperature, which the huge temperature difference between the two planets. This is like one of the main things here. And of course, because of low temperature, the water is iced on the planet, and we have to maintain the right temperature for that water, for that ice to actually melt, as you've said, as you mentioned it before. But fortunately, just only on the north part of the planet, there's enough water to actually to build up huge oceans and seas on this planet, because it's enough. And of course, we have to mention that on Mars there is underground water as well, which is huge. Of course, those are like, I don't know whether they are iced or not, but of course it's quite like theoretical, because we haven't really dug in Mars, of course. And there's a whole another thing that some say that the material on Mars, the raw materials, are actually incredibly good in order to build like bricks to maintain that architectural material brick. You know what I'm talking about, that red stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like, and of course in Mars it would be different, because you wouldn't need the the technology that we use in Earth. They would like to glue it together with melted plastic or something like that. So it's like crazy what they are trying to do here. But I don't know, what's your ideas about this, Tommy?
Well, simply saying, the main problem is that we haven't been there, haven't done anything in connection with it. So we can't be sure about any results. So yeah, we can talk about how to warm up a whole planet, but wow, this stays not a dream, a plan, but we can't be sure to how to execute it, because we haven't done anything like this yet.
Yeah, that's absolutely
So
true.
this is-
Yeah. And of course, it's like, in theory, everything seems easier.
Yeah, And
But there are very lot of theories, and who will tell you that which one is the
The one.
the good one?
Yeah.
and so like if we realistically think about it, I don't think any kind of plan to terraform or Mars is realistic until we are not there. So the first step is actually going there, as Tommy said as well. And so this is why I also believe that the first is the artificial base on Mars, like making artificial bases on Mars and making societies on Mars. And this is, I think, again, one of the most interesting question and not really considered question. That let's just imagine, we have the technology to create base on Mars, and we have a Martian base, whereon we can, whereon there are like hundreds of people, and they start to actually colonize the planet. But the question is, how will that society work on Mars? Because there are like a lot of things. Should they have politicians? Should they have judges? And these democratic structures which we've got on Earth? Should they have cinemas, discos, places where they can hang out and entertain themselves, which is like a human need as well, and also like restaurants and stuff like that. But for that, of course, we need to supply people who could run those things as well. So like, how can you build up a society completely from the stretch, from the 0 point, to that like humans could live there? Because of course, until the scientists there who try to explore Mars, that's fine maybe, but maybe even them will come the point when they say, hey, okay, I've been working for a fucking year, but I really need to just have some rest somewhere. I just need to hang out in a restaurant or in a bar or something like that. And so
And then we will send the rockets full of alcohol.
yes, and we will even make Martian people alcoholists. Yeah.
So
This-
at this point, it's a philosophical question, right?
More or
That's
less. More or less.
how would you recreate a civilization? How would you? Because we are learning constantly. So right now I'm learning history, and we are taught to learn about it, learn from our old mistakes, and this is the situation where we can do it perfectly. So it's the chance to really learn from our mistakes
Yeah.
and recreate it.
Yeah,
But like,
I can totally agree with this idea.
by the way, I think I can too. However, I have a bot. I'm sorry. But like, I'm not sure that it's something that is possible in practice, because in theory it sounds, it's very cool that like learn from our mistakes and build a society without the mistakes we've got. And actually, this is what history for. I really believe in that. This is what history for. However, in practice, a society does look like without mistakes. Like, can a society develop without mistakes? Because
Of course not.
the
Cannot be managed.
the human communities could only develop with thousands of mistakes, with actually thousands of years with mistakes, and like it's impossible. I think it's sort of impossible to create any community which does not have its flaws, because humans themselves.
but our job is to do not do the same mistakes. So yeah, I agree. I totally agree. We will have mistakes also. It's true. It's perfectly normal. It we need mistakes. But yeah,
Yeah,
our job is to work on how to be better.
Yeah, this will be our opportunity to make it like perfect, or at least to like a perfect-ish, maybe.
I would say, sorry to interrupt you, but I would say in practice we will make some of the same mistakes that we did before, because of maybe sort of consequences, because of making some kind of golden meter. For that, we may make some of the same mistakes, but our job is to shrinken it down as much as it's possible, to like have less and less of them. If maybe we cannot make it non-existent, even the past mistakes we cannot make it non-existent, but we should make it as low as it is possible in the practice.
Yeah, that's obviously true, of course. But I believe we have skipped something here, that you've mentioned that working one's ass off is like on for instance, you've mentioned that we already have just imagine, we already have the technology, we've already formed the planet inhabitable. So first humans are on this planet living their life. I don't mean like the best life, but they live live a different life, of course.
Yeah.
But I believe this is the point where humanity need to sacrifice a lot. I believe that in human history there actually wasn't that big of an influential, and of course that big of like a sacrifice that we have to make towards this dream to live on another planet. And this is where you cannot say that I've been working for like half a year and I need rest. Yeah, of course you need rest, but you cannot have one. Of course, it's because our time is limited here on Earth, and we are quite vulnerable, as I have mentioned it before, and our world can end just in a snap, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Of course, some theories say, yeah, we have to mention that, of course, as well, but our time is limited and we need to rush a little bit with this.
Yeah.
Of course, because we have fastened up the like demolishing of our world with, of course, with building huge factories, or of course with overpopulation and things like that. We just fasten up the time. Of course, oh no, we fasten up the steps forward, destroying our world, but decrease our time that we need to find some ways out of this. And this is where I believe that sacrifice will play a huge role here, because this is it's needed to be done.
There is one good thing about it. We can choose the people we send up. So we have the choice and to choose the best persons who fits this. And yeah, I just can't believe who will decide that who will be the first colonizer or first colonizers on Mars.
Of course, if
Who
we
will be the person?
Yeah, of course, if we can consider the fact that one of my main goals in this world is to some people just like remember my name. This is like one of my goals to, because I know I'm not like immortal. I will die of eventually sometime in the future. Hopefully I will have enough time to do my things, to sort of accomplish my dreams, of course. And one of my goals is that I've mentioned before, that to left something here, at least my name. And the fact is that when my dreams like in the long term future away, and I don't have another possibility to make something memorable or remarkable, then I will choose to go on that fucking planet first.
Hey,
Good.
Because my name definitely will be in history books, at least.
hey,
Just two words.
I can assure you that we will run the podcast from there too. Like,
Oh, nice.
how fucking mad that would be, like. And Patrick is with us from Mars. Oh Jesus. But anyway, yeah. I think there are a lot of people who think similarly like you, and even there are those crazy ones, and like this is a crazy in a good way, I think, who think that they can change something in humanity, and like there always are the ones, and they actually do it, because those people who are crazy enough to think that I can go on Mars are the ones who go there, and are the ones who can actually work their asses off on Mars. Of course, it's like not 100%, because anybody can change, and anybody can like anybody's personality can be formed throughout something like this and something like life, you know. But the situation is that there will be, I think, people with enough willpower and craziness who would say that we can do it. Because
Yeah,
just think about it. There is Elon Musk, and within 15 years he built up a rocket making company. What the fuck? Like, and those are the most advanced rockets on planets right now, I would say. And like, what the fuck? Like, he just thought that, here we go, let's go on Mars, let's go explore everything, and he's about to make it possible. Yeah, of course there is still a lot to figure out, especially if we think of the failures that happened, but like, you cannot go on without failures.
yeah, of course. Yeah. So we have to be clear about this fact that a lot of human lives will actually this project will cost. That's a sure thing. That's for sure. That's for 100%.
Yeah, it's I think it would be surprising if that could like be done without any death. Like, that would be unimaginable.
Oh hell no. Oh
But-
hell no.
Because we're still not sure about the dangers we can face on Mars, for example.
And of course we have to consider that it's in space, and sometimes when just like one thing slips, just like one little slip, then a person can die in space, like in a snap as well.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go to Mars. You just have to get in a rocket, and actually 3 minutes later, actually you can explode with the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
So it's 50-50 that whether you will live or not. And of course, unfortunately, this is the unfortunate thing here that I've mentioned, that I want to be one of them who colonize Mars. But of course, those people who will be the first colonizers have to be educated.
Oh, yes, as hell, like, as fucking hell.
They will need like 15 or even 20 years of learning and studying, because colonizing another planet isn't the same thing that we have experienced in this world.
Yeah, indeed.
Never ever.
Just think about it. How long it took to get there to discover America for the Europeans, of course. How, like, fucking 2,500 years if we just count it from the Greeks.
Yeah, and actually we should count that.
Yeah, like,
So, stay with that example. How long did it take to really know that the Earth isn't flat?
True. And but by the way, I have this question, and I've been thinking of it. We sort of talked about it, I think, but we didn't specifically say our opinion. So there is this like very especially from environmental protectors coming question that, like, we shouldn't concentrate on plan B until we no, we shouldn't concentrate on plan B, we could just concentrate on plan A. And like, I don't know what are your thoughts specifically, but I don't really agree with this. And like, especially Patrick explores how he thinks like we are vulnerable here, and that's one aspect of it. But also the second aspect is how Earth will run out of materials, like raw materials. Straight up, we will run out of them, and
Fossil fuels. Yeah.
fossil fuels, yeah, and like coal, iron, and stuff like that. And there is a lot more on Mars which we could explore. And also, I don't agree with stopping the discoveries, like in any way. Of course, like there is a role of morality which shouldn't be crossed. But if we're talking about discovering a new territory, then we just shouldn't stop it, because this is what always led to the greatest changes. But free to beat out your opinions on it.
Would you like to start, Tommy?
About plan A, plan B, thoughts came to my mind. So 2 days ago, we were talking about having only plan A. In this topic, I would change it very, very, very much. So when talking about sending fucking a rocket to the Mars, we should have a lot of plans. So when something goes wrong, then we will have another solution, because there won't be any runway, so you can't run back. You are there. You have to solve any problem, and there will be problems. You have to solve them all by yourself. So this is why we have to wait and think about every fucking solution, every problem that can come up, because there they will have one chance
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Totally. And
Yeah.
this is, and you've mentioned my point as well, but I'd like to add something as well. Some things specifically. Um, like, of course, we mentioned like 2 days ago that only plan A and focus on plan A and work your ass off towards plan A. But it's locally. It's for your own sake.
Yeah,
But for
individually.
yeah, individually, yeah, definitely. Thank you. But for globally, globally thinking, globally considering things, we really should have not another plans as well until the letter Z, of course. And this is why that you've mentioned that a lot of problems will occur. Definitely, it's to 100%, and every single slip should have a solution or more than one solution for that one slip, because no one knows right now what could go wrong in the future. And there's another thing. In this situation, when we are talking about our future as as like a huge colony, as humanity, that we actually should and we must try to live as long as possible. To maintain this future, planet A, not like I've said planet because this is what I've heard that planet B or planet A, so this is why I say
Oh
this.
yeah,
Pla-
similar.
yeah, yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah, pretty much the same. Yeah, planet A cannot be actually live much longer without planet B, and this is why this is the reason what you've said, Roland, that we need raw materials not just from our world but from other planets as well, of course. And we need to consider the technology, man.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, of course. Just think about it. When you can actually terraform another planet, what kind of thing actually can cause problems here when you have that, when you finally have reached that level of smartness, intelligence, and technology, of course, with these two? Nothing. Nothing can go wrong when you have these kind of technologies, because because it's not like word like, it's not word like, it's Mars like. I believe that in the future there will be huge difference between the two planets, and of course this, and of course the main point will be technology, definitely. um and and of course with the technology on Mars we will help the living people and the living and the humanity. With Mars technology we will have help them, and with the existence technology that we have on this planet, like our medical care, or our like for instance, don't think about technology, help me out here. What kind of things that can we offer to those people who are living on a whole another planet? Of
Um,
course, like materials, for instance.
yeah, or food or agricultural products.
Yeah. So this exchange will finally happen, and I believe this will be like the only way to maintain the two planets simultaneously, or something like that.
Yeah, and like I think we can just say the main difference, the success we talked about 2 days ago, and the plan that we are talking about now, is the main difference is that in case of individual success, plan B actually makes plan A falling, while in this case the plan A, so Earth, and plan B, Mars, actually both supports each other simultaneously, as you said.
Yeah.
And like no one actually draws back the other one. It improves together, while in individual success it's not.
Yeah, definitely. definitely. And of course, there's another thing that I wanted to mention, but I forgot. That fortunately, and I cherish God every single time that I come to this fact that I'm a human and I was born to be a human being.
Yes.
It's quite a lucky situation because in the universe, most complex thing is our brain. And with this brain, we gotta do things like exploring Mars because we have the ability. We should we should use our brain. We definitely should. This is where we are right now because of our brain, because of humanity. Humanity actually proves that we can be better and better and better again.
Yeah.
To be a better civilization too. Wow, it kind of sounds futuristic, but let's just imagine that one day the colony on Mars will be as much improved that they will send rockets to the uh, Earth to help us for our improvement. So they will live there and experience things that will get them along their way, long, and they will improve so much that they can outrun the beginning of this humanity. It just came to my mind. I have to share it. Wow.
And that's something that actually can happen and crazy. Imagine that, like, we fasten up the time to like 200 years in future, and like there is this Martian society, and not even that they helping us, they are sending the rockets towards Saturn on Jupiter, or Uranus or whatever. They sending the rockets forward in exploring our galaxy, not galaxy, sorry, solar system. But like, who knows? Maybe our galaxy, and like how this whole exploring the Martian surface and living on Mars can make a wave effect, can create a wave effect, which actually supplies all the explorations of even the far future, which motivates the future explorations, and that what is seriously crazy and in old meaning of the word, I think. And if I don't know if you have any thoughts, if you have, just say it, but we are at like, we are way over than 1 hour, so
Yeah, of course. I have like other thoughts as well. Just I'd like to share some things that
yeah.
with this project that, of course, in this system, in order to explore a world, every single human being counts. And when you think that you cannot work towards this, of course you can. You have to do your own thing. You have to work towards your own dreams.
Yes.
And with this positive mindset and attitude, of course you can work towards a global dream as well, of course, because you gotta do good individually in order to make things happen globally. And there's another thing that I wanted to add, and this will be my last one, that with this project, the humankind will actually reach a level when we can say that we won't be the last of our kind.
Great finishing line.
Yeah, indeed. Domi, would you like to add anything else?
Ah, I think that's it for today. But I will think about it. I think all day, all night. So right now, yeah, I have thoughts, but I just can't explain everything right now.
Yeah, I can feel you. And for a closure, I just wanna have a very little thought with which popped on from Patrick's thought. So actually, guys, in order to connect the last podcast and this podcast, because we talked about both of them, I just like to say that whenever you feel like you cannot do something, you cannot work towards something, just think of that, how we are globally working on going on Mars. And if we can work on that, we can work on anything, literally. And so this was all for today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then hit us a like and subscribe. Also, we have social medias all over: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You can find all of them even on the screen. Also, we've got a little playlist about the wonders of the universe, which is going with any kind of astronomy and cosmology stuff. And you can even find the Moxie video there. So if you're interested, you can check out that as well. As I always say, a share would be just miraculous, guys. And thank you for the attention. And thank you for you guys being here. See ya.
Thank you. See you guys.
Ciao.